Welcome to this podcast again. And I was really thinking if today I had anything, special to tell you. And I realized I have. And even if I had, a bunch of lists and things that I have in my schedule to talk about, today I really felt like no, no. I want to go to something that just happened and how that really impacted me. And even I'm still in that wave of emotions because just I just came to the house. So I went to telling you what happened. I went to my box to my training today, as normally I do on Fridays, and that was already a decision. So I was not feeling great. I got so I was all week dealing with my gallbladder and my little stones, my little diamonds, as normally I call them, because they are really something that really triggers when I have, a little bit of extra in food, but also connected. The two things need to be together, like exaggerating in some type of food and the stress. So I went to the box and I was not feeling great, but I said, okay, I want to do this and I still want to do this. So I went. And at the end went really good because I felt, my my body working. And then I had in the school of my daughter and one of my daughters, the cleaning day. And it's a day that we go around in a particular zone of the city and we just clean. Basically, they clean and I clean as well. So I went with them with a group of 5 kids, and we were walking and cleaning up paper and plastic and those kind of stuff. And suddenly, one of the girls sees a pigeon, and she was a little bit intrigued and said, "Oh, I think this pigeon is not good." And I like, okay, leave it a little bit, and because she was running after him, and the pigeon was getting a little bit stressed. And I say, just wait a little bit, let's see. And we are going around, so if we come back and we see the same situation, so then we can take some actions. Okay, we went around, but the girl, I knew that she was with that in her head, so she went always a little bit faster. She was really fast, and then we come back, and she goes a little bit ahead, and she's already the pigeon. And she tries to pick up the pigeon because, yeah, he was not good, he was not flying. So she does that. She tries to do that. And suddenly we were, of course, all together, and the pigeon was just running and trying to escape, and it was really difficult to catch him. And I said, okay, you know what? We need. Can I help? And they said, yeah. So I went and I said, okay, we need really to first of all ourselves to rest, and then the pigeon is going to feel that energy, and then we can pick it up. I was so amazed because the kids were really like centering themselves without any instructions from my side. They were really centering themselves in their body, and then and helping each other. Like if someone was a little bit more like, yeah, but we shh, they were doing like this. And I was, catching and a little bit going closer to the pigeon. But what impresses me really was that natural, they are around 10 and 12, the natural knowledge that these kids had in how to ground themselves. And this for me is like, a pearl, is like gold. um, because many adults are really looking for this. Many and many adults are really, even sometimes fighting to get this, and doing a lot and paying a lot of money sometimes to go to retreats, to go whatever. And I go like, wow, these kids are doing this in just with a small instruction, just in a half a second, and they are just grounding themselves. But this also fascinates me, or basic, I don't know if you know, but I was a teacher. I started my career, let's say, as a teacher. And it was interesting because I had kids from high school and I had the university with senior people. And then was really interesting to see that all the complaints that, for instance, my colleagues had about the students, my other colleagues, I didn't. I didn't have the same. And I was always thinking that, yeah, but that's also something that you create, right? Is an energy that you bring in, and then that energy impacts the rest. And today I really had this vision of what will be if we let this type of grounding, this type of natural knowing come to us. If we let ourselves, of course, we need one particular thing, and you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. We need trust. We need to trust that we know how to do that, because we know we did it. Most part of us did that when we were children, even. Okay. So we know how to do it. But of course, we need to trust that that is still a knowledge that is with us. And of course, working with people and working with adults at this moment, I really get highly fascinated by how much struggling, in how much struggle people are in. And they struggle in communicating with each other. They struggle with relationships. They struggle with, themselves sometimes, most part of the times. And I go like, wow. I also sometimes struggle with myself. I always sometimes struggle with relationships. I also sometimes struggle, with communication. I'm not putting myself out of that story, but at the same time, I know that that is not my daily life. Okay, so it's momentums and it's moments that I have, and then I know that I can go out of there. I trust that I can go out of there. I trust that I know how to do that. And when I go around, sometimes I say, the basic to people. And sometimes what I hear is like, oh, yeah, I know that. And I say, so if you know that, why you don't do it? And this still sometimes fascinates me, along the way, is that if you know that, if you feel like that, why you don't do anything about it? Why you don't do that? Even sometimes people are saying something with their mouth and they are doing something totally the opposite. It's incredible, right? um, so today when I was looking to these kids, and then another group came, because with several groups, they joined us, and they saw what was happening, and immediately they jump in to this, let's ground. And suddenly we were like 12 or 10. And then every like a group, even was a guy, I saw a guy like looking like what they are doing. But we were all in a circle, you know, and the pigeon was in the middle. Was beautiful, was a beautiful, honest, um, natural moment. No one was like, oh, you know, I'm living this or I'm doing that. No, it's like, and I just at that moment I was just there. But then when I come home, I was driving home and I thought, wow, we just need to replicate this. We just need to go around and doing this with everyone. Just, you know, doing a circle and just looking to each other and supporting each other and just pause, just silence. And how difficult sometimes this is. It's still incredible how difficult sometimes this is, right? The silence, the pause, the nothing is nothing, it's just waiting, it's just being. And how difficult this is for so many people. And then one of the girls, where because we went back to school, and I said, okay, we need to, baby, we asked to call the ambulance, the animal ambulance. They did at school. And then everyone was, even was like the little ones, they were like, oh, what happened? What happened? And they were like, shh, the pigeon cannot be scared. And we're like, wow, what a beautiful moment. I hope these kids remember this. I'm pretty sure they will, and I will remember this, and I hope that they take this story home. I hope they take this story home and they tell their parents how they did it, and they tell their parents how quiet and what they did to catch the pigeon. I hope they do that, because was really a moment that I think if we could honor this type of moments, we honor the grounding, we honor the nature, we honor ourselves as people that can interfere in a good way. I think the world, you know, one by one, if we could do this, the world will be really a good place. It's not always a good place to be, but will be a good place if we were always able to do that. And I believe that one of the principles to really get to this point that you can really, find your ground is through calibration. And I spoke this week about calibration because I think is a skill that we are not training ourselves into, or most part of the times people are not training themselves to that, and we lose a lot of information, relevant information about our body, information about our thoughts, information about the world, information about the relationships. Calibration is the attention, is literally paying attention. Think about the cars, when you go to the garage, they are going to calibrate. They are going to calibrate the tires, they are going to calibrate the lights, because needs, to be balanced. And if something happens in another part of the car, still can impact, the tires and all of that. I had that experience. So the thing is, what can we do, humans, to calibrate ourselves? I think the first thing is really paying attention to the body. What is happening? What hurts? What doesn't hurt? Do I feel a specific part of my body today? Sometimes that happens, right? That happens with me a lot when I do some type of exercises and I go like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that was a muscle here. And hurts. So where is my body right now? And how do I feel my body right now? And it's so interesting because you are going to see that every day you're going to feel your body in a different way. Sometimes, for instance, I wake up and I really feel, even without doing anything, I feel my body wanting to move faster. For me, that is a no-go. I know that is something that is not stable. So when I feel that, I feel like, oh, why I'm a little bit clumsy and I'm doing things a little bit faster. And sometimes I even see my head also going faster, not getting really focused, and I just I do the opposite. So I row really slow. I do everything very slowly because I want to give my body that experience of contrast. The experience saying, okay, I decided that I don't want to go to that energy, so I'm going to slow down. And I think that is the first thing that most part of us loses by the automatic pilot. So by doing things in a way that we don't question and by just letting that happen. If, for instance, I don't know, you're going to get your shower and suddenly you let the soap out or you forget whatever. So you already know, like, whoa, what is this all about? Why today this is not, in a flow? Something is happening here. So that is paying attention. Yeah. And is at the same time, is not paying attention to nothing. It's just, okay, I realize that something here is different. So when you are seeing that difference, the difference in your own movements, the difference in your own body, the difference in your own thoughts, the difference, uh, even sometimes the way you move, those difference, they are telling you something already. And I think that is something that we don't, we go like, oh, another day, you know, or, oh, today is going to be a stress day. I'm stressed. And like, why you do that? That is not going to support you. What is going to support you is saying, okay, what do I want to do this? Do I want to stay with the energy or do I want to do something different? Yeah. And start with your physicality. I don't want to, I need to stop. I want to stop using the word body. Use your physicality, use movement, use your own movement, to really calibrate that. Okay, if I go slow, what happens? How do I feel? Is it transformation? Is not? Do I feel in a different way? Something different happens. And the second thing when you are calibrating, I already said it, is taking the decision. It's like, I'm paying attention, I'm seeing the difference, and then I'm going to decide what to do with that difference. This is a process that, of course, in the beginning is going to be forced and is going to look like, oh, but now I need to. No, just do it, for instance, in the morning when you wake up. But you're going to realize that after maybe 2 weeks, that comes more and more as a natural awareness point. And when you are able to do this with yourself, you also will get better doing this in relationships with other people. You are going also to amplify that calibration or capacity of calibrating what is happening between you and the other person faster. Yeah. And because one of the things that happens is that, yeah, okay, you pay attention to and you get the information, but normally is when you go back home or when the conversation is over and you start thinking about what happened. So that's too late, or can be too late. And normally it is. Sorry. Because the damage is already there. So you will need extra work to solve the damage and then restore the relationship. So when you learn, or not learn, when you start again doing this to yourself, you're going to realize that you will go also better for other people. Yeah. So calibration is the skill that most probably you will want to develop from now on. And going through moments that you see, wow, wow, I can do this without any effort, you know? And it's a beautiful feeling. And you can put a group of 10, 12 kids doing that. You think, I thought to myself, yeah, this is really something that I can offer. Because it really feels so natural. You really feel so good, that I think that is what one of the things that I can offer is that grounding, is that ground is safe. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend. And remember, the word is calibration. Take care.